Welcome one, welcome all. We've got a lot to get to. I don't know where it's going to go today because one of these is kind of a unique topic regarding college football. You know, we've done so much Lions. We'll do a little more today because it seems to be requisite. But we wanted to talk a little bit about a strange story. It's been covered in the local papers. Detroit News had a nice piece on it regarding the Big Ten selling to private equity. And if you haven't been following this, it's interesting. And these gentlemen, and I use that term lightly, that I work with here, have all said, look, we can't go too deep into the numbers. You'll lose the whole audience, Mike. And I'd like to tell you they're right. So we'll try to stay on the periphery of that. I'm fascinated
hit the big
by
numbers. I think that's what more people are concerned about.
Okay, we'll use terms like a lot and a little. But I wanted to ask people this because if you're a Michigan fan, I think there's an interesting conversation going on. And some of your heavy hitters are making some very blustery threats that I just don't believe they can back up. But I actually understand why Michigan is opposed to signing this. I'll explain. From the other side, it's MSU seemingly sitting in that strange chair in the hotel room again, where they're willing to be treated the same as Purdue, Northwestern, and Rutgers. So can I give people some of the backstory?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Let's move along.
Sorry. MSU should do pro combat jerseys with Jerry Falwell on the helmet.
Okay, you know what? That's going to be the blitz now.
So look, from the debt news, you see investments and deep discussions to purchase a minority stake in the Big Ten. Any finalized deal requires the approval of all 18 schools. So that includes University of Michigan, which is arguably the conference's biggest brand. Michigan regents have publicly stated their opposition to the proposal. USC has also stood with Michigan in opposition. So basically, it's to buy a 10% slice of the Big Ten media rights over a decade. It would increase the Charter Bill of Rights, keeping the conference together through 2046. And there would be a tiered, and this is where it gets dicey, an unequal tiered revenue share. So the three schools that would get the highest, nearing $200 million a year, would be Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. Then there's a couple schools in the middle, which I think is laughable, by the way. Oregon's been here for 10 minutes. Why would they get about 155?
Swoosh.
Then there's 13 other schools, including Michigan State, that would be getting 110. That's as far as we'll go into the numbers. I don't want to lose you. But basically, it's a $2.4 billion proposal, and it is a huge cash infusion to each school. Obviously, the article goes into detail about certain things, about schools who need money, et cetera. But Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, who's been meeting in person with university boards over the last several months to brief them on the deal, including a meeting with Michigan State trustees in early September, so I'm sure his IQ came out of that meeting lower. It's believed to be a sticking point for some schools where there are boards or guardians of all dollars that are spent, no matter how big or small. So it ends with, and I want to read this, the Michigan commentary. Now, Mark Bernstein spoke on this, basically saying, nobody threatens Michigan ever.
Grumble, grumble.
Grumble, grumble. Yeah, I don't know how much of a threat it is when someone's offering you $200 million a year, but I understand long-term why you might not want to sign. Here, this came from Jordan Acker, fellow regent of Mark Bernstein, slammed the proposal in an interview with SiriusXM, even suggesting in a headline-grabbing move that Michigan could leave the Big Ten if the deal went through against its wishes. It just doesn't make sense for the richest conference to sell a piece of stuff like this. It doesn't make any sense for the University of Michigan, which is engaged in incredible fiscal responsibility, to mortgage what could be an unbelievable amount of revenue in the future and bring private equity in the door. So I'll say it for the people in the back. I understand Michigan not wanting to sign this, even though they get the highest share. I think what they're looking at is long-term.
Back end of that deal.
Yes, so think of it like Miguel Cabrera.
Yes.
This deal's going to be great for a few years. What about the back end?
The back end of the deal, and real quick, Mike, to add to that, after private equity is done with getting their 10%, they can then sell off their rights to whoever they want to sell those rights
for
off
whatever
to.
they want.
Correct.
Where Michigan loses me is whether it's Acker or Bernstein acting like Sam Elliott in Roadhouse or doing this, we'll leave the conference. No, you won't. But here's what we wanted to ask you. From a Michigan perspective, you're a fan. What is your reaction to this? What is your reaction to a regent saying, we'll leave the Big Ten? What is your reaction? I don't know if there'll be a reaction about private equity because it doesn't resonate with you.
Right. Because it sounds great because it's like, okay, in this day of NIL and paying players, so we're going to get if you're Michigan, we're going to get $190 million. We can go out and buy whoever we want. And even if you're state, you're like, we can get $110 million. We can go get what we want.
Well, that's the other side of it.
But it comes at a price.
Oh, where's the money go? All these schools have done is get more and more, yet cry that they're more poor than when they started. Again, it's like a lot of things in life. Oh, build this stadium. It'll produce this economic impact.
Jobs.
Yeah, right. Great. I'm sorry, but we're not changing the city's socioeconomic profile by creating more almond vendors.
Yeah, buy your tickets. It's going to help the school systems out.
If you're a Michigan fan, what do you make of this deal and the fact that you've got regents threatening that we'll leave the Big Ten? Do I think it's idle? Yes, I do. I think it'd be crazy to leave. I'll help you pack if you'd like to leave. For Michigan State, it's once again, you're in the chair that faces the bed, not the TV. Why would Jay Batt and Guskowitz, the president and AD who are new at State, why would you agree to this deal? Now, I understand the program is dog water right now, but in relatively recent history, MSU won 3 Big Ten championships and played for a 4th, is one of the few schools in the Big Ten to have made the modern playoff. And you're going to walk through the door and take 110 when others are going to get 195. See, here's my thing. If revenue sharing works in the NFL on an equal basis, which is the most successful league in the world, why would we create further inequalities with a tiered system?
I think you put it best when you really look at this, and not to get too nerdy, but Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State over 10 years will have almost made $1 billion more than the other 13 schools. $1 billion. You're creating super halves and just broke-ass have-nots.
And my question is, if the deal requires all 18 schools to agree to it, why would any school agree to less?
Yes. Now, what it turns into, and I think they even talked about it in that article, for some schools, and I think, unfortunately, this is where Michigan State is at, because they're in a deficit in their athletic department, it becomes a bad payday loan where I just need this money right now. Okay, I'm going to charge you 38% interest. Don't care. I need to pay off this, and I can't cover it just right now.
Right.
So you get this $110 million. It sounds great until it's really not.
And I think Michigan is smart not signing it. I do. Yeah. I think Michigan should be hyper protective of their rights, and I think Michigan, long view in this, it makes sense. Now, again, I'm not asking Michigan to be a good steward or anything. I can handle these things that two different parties, entities, have two completely different goals, and that is fine. I have never liked the idea of unequal tiered revenue sharing. This is what tore the Big 12 apart. Texas wanted their own network. Texas wanted unequal sharing. And it went a long way into destroying the Big 12.
Because the reason why the unequalness does not work, because in the end, who are you going to play? You got to play these other schools that you're making more money than them, but you think you're better than them. So if it's equal, and I'm even for the point of, if you want to have it tiered, especially in football, then set it up that wherever you fall within the top 5, that's how much money you get the next year. So it gives everybody an opportunity to one day get that $190 million, even if it's for 1 year.
Yeah.
Like Indiana will be sitting there saying, why would we sign this deal? We're turning into a powerhouse here, but we're in that, I'm not going to use your term, but we're in that other group that's only getting $110 million.
I'll simplify it because we're not doing would you eat it. And I understand that this isn't as simple as Lions good or bad, 248, work with us. You got one school threatening we'll leave the conference. You got another school who I think, look, if you're a Spartan, I think at a minimum you're frustrated with J-Bat for a multitude of reasons. This would be another. Who the hell are you to walk in the door and take a terrible deal as one of your first major acts where your in-state rival is going to be making, in essence, double what you're making? No, you can't agree to that.
Money that you'll never be able to recoup.
And worst part, I'll tell you what, if you want to do this, I think you owe an explanation to people.
That is fair. That is, you step up to the microphone, not in a press release, and you take questions. And you can and have reporters say, I don't understand this. Explain this to me like I'm a 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's almost like when the NCAA goes crazy on you but let your rival off the hook. You might want to answer for that. Or sit in the odd chair again. See, this is the problem if you're a Spartan. There's a developing issue here. And J-Bat might be a lot of things. But so far, I'm going to tell you, when you parse this PE thing and you put it with the NCAA thing and the lack of standing up for the school, and then you piece it together with what is or is not happening with Jonathan Smith, that's a separate topic we can get to later today. It's going to be brilliance or buffoonery.
Right. You walk around in silence, and it's like either you're Batman or you're Bait Man. I don't know which one you are right now.
Go home and do a podcast, Bait Man. 248.
That's one word, dermatologist.
539-9797. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. God forbid we do something that requires a little thought. I know. David, go ahead. What's up? Talk to me. You're shaking your head. Did we do a bad presentation?
You did not do a bad presentation. I'm just disappointed in the people. That's all.
Well, I mean, again.
Got to give them yes or no, I guess.
No, but I
Pistons good.
No. Pistons February. The point is, look, you've got Michigan threatening to leave the Big Ten. You have Michigan holding this deal up. I kind of understand it. And then for State, you have State not standing up for itself. Like, I think those are simplified but worthy issues to discuss.
Yeah. For State, you almost feel like you're getting ghosted. Like, is anybody there? Is anybody going to answer the phone? Is somebody going to tell me something?
No.
And that's what it feels like.
248-539-9797. That's what we're talking about. So figure it out.